Welcome back to the Route 2 Write YouTube channel. Here you'll find plenty of writing tips, school assignment help, how-to videos, and general writing content to support you as a writer. In this video, we're going to learn how to write an acrostic poem. The amazing thing about acrostic poems is that they are fun and follow an easy structure. They can be written about any topic, and they are a fantastic way to learn about poetry. We'll focus on a few key areas. First, we'll do a breakdown of acrostic poems, looking at how they are structured and what you should do to create your own poem. Then, we'll look at how to be creative with an acrostic poem. This will make your acrostic poems entertaining for your readers. Finally, we'll look at the 5 simple steps to follow to write your own acrostic poems at home. But before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to this channel if you're interested in more useful writing videos on a range of different topics. Let's jump right into the acrostic poem. Let's get the basics out of the way first. What is an acrostic poem? An acrostic poem is a type of poem where the first letters of each line spell out a word or phrase. It's like a word puzzle hidden inside the poem, where each line helps to build or describe the word that's spelled out vertically. An acrostic poem is an extremely popular type of poem, especially for children. That's because an acrostic poem is a great type of poem to learn as a young writer. The structure is easy to learn, and you can practice your creativity while learning about key parts of poetry like rhythm, rhyme, and imagery. Now, let's break down the acrostic poem and look at what it should contain. But before we do that, I recommend you pause this video now to read the acrostic poem on the screen if you haven't already. We're going to be using this to guide us through the next stage of this video. So the most important thing about an acrostic poem is the vertical word or phrase. This is a word or phrase that can be read by looking at the first letters of each line. As we can see in our example acrostic poem, the word is school. This should give us an idea of topic of the poem, and it will also be the title of the poem too. Secondly, our acrostic poem should focus on a central idea or topic. This is normally easy to identify, as it is the vertical word or phrase in the acrostic poem. When you have a central idea for your poem, it makes it easier to stay on topic and include details that are relevant to the poem. The topic of this poem is school, but more specifically, how the poet feels about school. We can see that the writer's central idea is about how boring and hard school is for students, something I'm sure most readers can relate to. Next, acrostic poems let you be creative with your word choices. For example, you can choose to rhyme in your poem, but you don't have to. In this poem, we have bus and fuss, cease and peace, and loom and boom. This is an AA, BB, CC rhyme scheme. But remember, your acrostic poem doesn't have to rhyme. So, experiment with using rhyme and leaving it out. Which do you think sounds better? And finally, it's important to remember that the lines in your acrostic poem should be meaningful. No one wants to read filler lines, or lines that are there just because they begin with the right letter. Spend some time working on your ideas and making sure they are relevant to the main idea of your poem. This might be the hardest part, but it will make sure your acrostic poem is entertaining for your readers. The structure of the acrostic poem is the easy part, but if you want to make an acrostic poem that is entertaining for your readers, there are a few things to consider. First, try to stick to a theme for your acrostic poem. Is there a lesson or a message for your readers? Try to make it clear in your poem. You'll notice that most poems and even stories have a theme, and acrostic poems are no exception. Next, you can make acrostic poems more creative by including literary devices such as similes, metaphors, or personification. This will make your writing more advanced and give it more layers. Also, sound devices such as alliteration or onomatopoeias will also make your writing sound better. These exciting sounds will keep your readers interested and enjoying your acrostic poem. Finally, your acrostic poem doesn't only have to be words. Why not experiment with visual elements such as drawings or color? Make your acrostic poem look visually appealing, and your readers are sure to enjoy their reading experience even more. You might be thinking by now that this seemingly simple poem is a bit more complex than you first thought. Well, don't worry, because we've got 5 simple steps for you to follow to create the perfect acrostic poem. Are you ready? Let's look at these steps together. First, decide what to write about. Is your topic going to be about spring? Maybe you want to write about a person, perhaps a sport that you love. With an acrostic poem, it's up to you. Next, write your word down vertically. This gives you the starting point for your acrostic poem. Then, brainstorm words or phrases that describe your idea. Try to find some new, exciting vocabulary, examples of literary devices, metaphor, simile, personification, alliteration, onomatopoeia, or anything else you know. Next, place your brainstormed words or phrases on the lines that begin with the same letters. You might need to do some moving about here to make sure you're happy with your structure and ideas. Remember, avoid filler lines that don't carry much meaning. Finally, fill in the rest of the lines to create a poem. Take your ideas from your brainstorm and adjust them to fit the missing lines in your acrostic poem. Remember, look for synonyms of your words to find similar words beginning with different letters. Don't give up here. There is always a solution to find to make the perfect acrostic poem. So let's have a recap of what we've learned today. We learned that an acrostic poem contains a word or phrase spelled out with the first letter of each line of the poem. We learned that our acrostic poem should stick to a central topic or idea, or even better, it should express a theme. To make our acrostic poems even better, we should experiment with a range of literary devices such as similes and alliteration. Finally, we learned that there are 5 simple steps to follow to create an acrostic poem, making them an easy, accessible poem for all. Hopefully now you feel confident enough to go ahead and write your own amazing acrostic poem following the 5 steps we learned today. So, what will you write about? Let us know in the comments. Hopefully you found this video useful. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel. You'll find plenty of writing tips, school assignment help, how-to videos, and general writing content to make you a better writer. We'll see you soon.